Okay, good morning. Mm, Interfaces are done, right? Generics, keep the ID. Generics. So we'll wait for more 5 minutes. Let's others to join. Okay. So last session we have discussed about how an interface is and what is the importance of interface in the TypeScript. Now in today's session we will be using a new concept that is what generics. Same concept we have it in even in all the regular programming language like C Sharp, Java. Anywhere you go, generics are available. Now, what is meant by a generic? First of all, I can say that generics are nothing but general data types. Generics are nothing but general data types. That means we are going to create our own data type. Later, we can assign a particular type to that one. That means, suppose let's say I declared a function, maybe, and this function, the name of the function is going to be demo. And here I created a parameter, which is X. Maybe I can give a type of the parameter is going to be a number that what I can give. Okay, I created a function with the name demo and I have a parameter which is X and the type of the X is of what type? Number. Now at the time of calling that one, where I can pass what 100, then we don't have any issues, right? It is working perfectly fine with respect to the TypeScript. Suppose in place of that, if I'll be writing a string value, maybe let's say welcome if I'm giving, is it okay or error? It is going to be an error because at the time of declaration, I created a variable or parameter of type number. Okay, type is nothing but the data type. I created my type as going to be the number so that it is must to pass only a number. If you can pass anything other than that, then it won't allows you. That is how the system was built. So if that is the case, what I need to do, either I can create another function with the same name and where I can give, let's say, a stringer type. But the time when I'm writing this, TypeScript won't allows you. Did you remember why it won't allows you? Right, overloading is not possible in JavaScript, so that TypeScript is also not allow you to override a function. So that is the reason you can't do this particular requirement. You can't even achieve this particular requirement when it comes to the programming world. Okay, Srikanth, this is the first problem. The first problem. Second problem is going to be, Srikanth, I can create a function with the name demo or whatever it might be. I created a variable of X and the type is going to be any that what I have written. Any that what I have written. Any is one of the data type. The way how we have the undefined, right? Undefined is available. Same way we have a data type that is any. By default, if you create a variable and not assigned any data type to that one, TypeScript will assign any as the data type. Now here, when user has given any as the type, user can pass any type of data. User may pass 100, user may pass some string value over here, and user may pass some, let's say, Boolean value, true or false, and user may pass, let's say, some array, 1 comma 2 comma 3, like that user may pass, or else user can pass let's say a JSON object also. Maybe I can say employee ID, which is of 101, and employee name, which is of going to be, let's say, some string that what I can give. So the time when I specify a parameter of type any, user can supply any type of value. Any type of value, it doesn't matter to me. User may give a number value, user may give a string value, and user may give a Boolean value, and user can give what? An array type of value. So like that, user can pass like any type of value. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, user can pass like, any type of value here. But the problem here is going to be, we don't have a type safety over here. Now I'm using this function, find demo function I used in my requirement. At that time, I'm connecting with some API, and from that API, I'm getting only an employee number. I just write a logic here. The logic is going to be if x is equal to, let's say, 101, x equal to 101, then I'm going to get employee ID, okay, employee based on EMP ID. Just I'm calling that method. Just assume that. Suppose let's say I write another function. If x is equal to, I'll be writing some string type. Okay, let's say something like Srikanth here. I just write a simple function here. In practical, I'm telling you. Suppose here what I can do, I'm calling another function based on employee name. I can say I'm going to call this one. So that user has to supply either a number in this case, or user has to supply a string in this case. But as I'm declaring here, it has of any type, do we have any guarantee? We don't have any guarantee. User may supply only a number, or user may supply only a string type of value. So this is where the general functions or general members or general parameter at the time of creating, if you are not specifying a particular type, and if you can give any as the type, we don't have a restriction that user will not supply a particular type of value. Understand? So to overcome that, that means we should have the type safety. That is all the reason behind the TypeScript. Why we are using the TypeScript means we have to restrict the user to give a particular type of value. If user has given any value, I don't want to accept. In JavaScript, that is the problem. In JavaScript, what is the problem? Suppose the same code, if I'll be executing in the JavaScript, if user has verified with 101 or Srikanth or whatever it might be, at the time of verification, we don't have any issues because it won't produce even a single compilation error to me. Once you run that application, if user has passed true or false, or if user has passed a simple JSON object to this particular function, then it might cause like, that exception. As I told you, exceptions are going to be one of the very important thing to handle. If you are not handling that exception, then the whole system will be impacted. Whole application will get impacted if you are not handling that exceptions in a proper way. That means in JavaScript, as we don't have a specific type, most of the time we are getting that exceptions. That is the reason behind what the TypeScript came into the picture. Again, in the TypeScript, if you can do a mistake, something like this, then is there any use of it? No. That is the reason what generics will do is generics will provide a type safety. That is the first advantage. Generics will provide the type safety, and type safety for not only the parameter, we can use the generics at function level, you can use it class level, interface level, whatnot. Generics are used to provide generics will provide the type safety for the class and its members, I can say, for the class and its members. And the next one is going to be generics will avoid exceptions. Exceptions. Generics will avoid the exceptions. And the third one is going to be it provides reusability of the code. Reusability of the code icons. The main reason behind the generics are going to be first one, type safety. Second one, it will avoid that exception by throwing compilation errors. Any number of errors you can get as the compilation error, because as a developer, we know that how to fix it. And when you are getting the compilation errors, only whenever you are in a dev environment. Dev environment, you can get thousands of errors also, it doesn't matter to me. But once if that application is moving into the production, if I'm getting like an exception, then that will close that entire application. That is an impact on my business, right? Yes or no? That is an impact on the business. Suppose let's say today I'm developing a story, and at the time of development, I'm having let's say 200 errors, 200 compilation errors I'm getting. So that what I can do, I can fix them by sitting in front of the system. I know that like in which line number it was happened and everything. Suppose I don't have any issues and my application is working fine. And at the end of the day, I started deploying my code into the production. Once if it is deployment is done, first half an hour it is working fine. Whatever the data user has given, based upon that data, my application is working fine. Suppose let's say at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, somebody has given a different data rather than what I'm expecting. If I'm getting like, some other data, then what will happen immediately? An exception will cause, it will abnormally terminates the entire application. If I am not available at that moment, then that is a loss for the business, right? Yes or no? So that is the reason to always we try to avoid the exceptions. That is the reason behind like, the TypeScript is came into the picture here. Blindly, if you can use the JavaScript, there is a more chance of getting that exception. To avoid that exceptions only, we go with the TypeScript. And how we can do that? Generics will avoid what? The exceptions. That means mostly exceptions will not cause by throwing the compilation errors. That means at the time of development itself, if it is not in a correct way, then it will throw you an error. That is how it is. And at the same time, generics provide the reusability of the code. Now, how to create the generics? Generics are created. Generics are created with the symbol with the placeholders. Placeholders. Placeholder is nothing but less than and greater than combination. This is what we call it as a placeholder. Okay, this is what we call it as a placeholder. Less than and greater than. And inside that, you can have a variable. And that is what we call it as a typed variable. Okay, generics are created with placeholder. In between, in between, we have, in between, we have typed parameter. In between, we have a typed parameter. Understood? Generics are created with what? Placeholder that is less than and greater than. And in between, we have a typed parameter. A typed parameter can be anything. Here I'm writing T, but if you wanted to give your name also, you can give. That is where I mentioned here. Generics are nothing but the general data type. The data type can be created with any name. Either you can create with T, X, Y, Z, or your name, or my name, or institute name, or company name, whatever, anything you can use. But most of the time, we will be using T. That is the standard that we follow it in the real time. But any name you can have, we don't have any restriction over that. That is how the generics are going. And how to work with that generics, let me show you with an example. It's a quite simple one, but which will play a major role. I'll be creating a new TypeScript file here. Go to the D drive, Angular session, 730 TypeScript I'm having, and go with the command prompt where I can use code space dot. Right. Now, generics dot ts I can say. I'm writing first with the help of a function. When I use the function, and I generally like how to create the function, we give the name of the function here, right? Yes. We give the name of the function here. And once you can give the name of the function, here you can specify the type. Now I'm giving the type as going to be T. And here I created a variable. Any variable you may take. Suppose let's say I'm having message which is of type of T, that what I can say. That's it. Now you can see I created a function and the name is going to be what? Demo is the one that what I am having. Okay, demo is the one that what I am having. Demo is the one that what I am having, where it is containing how many typed parameter? One typed parameter, and I created a parameter with the name message, which is of type what? T, that what I can say. Now here you can see, I'll be using a simple console.log, and here type of T is, I'll be concatenating with, we have a member that is type of, and where I can say message I can give. That means first I want to get like what type it is returning. Second, I'm going to get the value so that I can go with the console.log value of, okay, value of variable T, value of message is, and I'm going to give a message over here. That's it. A simple example. Now here you can see I have a demo function, and in the demo function I created a type parameter as T, and then I created a message variable or parameter, and the data type for that one is T, that what I have given. Here T is nothing but it's a generic type. Now how do I call it? Simply when I call in demo of, suppose let's say 1 2 3 4 5, if I'll be giving. Now save this application and you can run it once. You see, I'll be using TSC space generics dot TS, I can say, and say okay. Now you see, it will be creating the JavaScript file for us, and observe the JavaScript. JavaScript will have like, the normal, because it is not supported with any of the data type, so that it is giving me something like this. And now I'm going to execute this particular one, where I can say node space generics, okay, generics dot JS I can give. Now the T is of what type here it became? Number type, and the message is going to be 1 2 3 4 5, that you, right? Now the same thing you can see demo, where I can give a type as going to be, let's say welcome I'm writing. Now I'm just going here. Let's go with the TSC space generics, and at the same time node if I'm using, first is of what type here? Number. Second is of what type? String it we have. But this is not that exact right way to call the generics. Understand? Generics will avoid like, the typecasting also. That is also one of the advantage I can say. It avoids data type casting, I can say. It avoids the data type casting also. Okay, leave about it. But you see, this is not the right way. That means I just wanted to restrict the user, that user has to supply a particular value of my designed type. Now what I can do, the time when I'm giving demo, now here you can see what type you wanted to have. You can specify it over there, so that user can supply only that value. Now here I'm giving 1 2 3 4 5. I don't have any issues. But the same time, the same thing, if I'll be writing a string over there, there you can see it gives you a compilation error. Now what is that error? The argument of the type string is not assignable to the parameter of the type number. That means here for this particular generic type, I'm giving the data type as what? Number. So that user has to supply a number. If user has given any other value rather than the number, then it will throw you a compilation error directly. That means at the time of development itself, I'm able to identify that issue. We don't have any scenario where you can get that exception. So we are able to identify what would be that issue here. Now I know that like what is that issue here, so that easily I can rectify by passing a number. Srikanth, then how about the reusability? Now suppose let's say for another set of people or another set of development, same function, you wanted to pass a string value. Then what you can do? You can give a string value only, but if you can give a number, There you can see the argument of the type number is not assignable to the type of string. That means I'm able to achieve the type safety. Type safety means whatever the data type I declared, I have to supply only that value. That is what a type safety. Now here you can see I'm able to achieve the type safety. At the same time, if user has given like a wrong value, I'm able to give a compilation error as well. And third one is going to be reusability. That means here for number, if I'm creating, I can't pass a string value to this one, right? But as I created demo, which is of type generate, one set of development, let's say in one page, I'm using demo of type number. In another page, the same functionality is required for me. Then do I need to rewrite this function? No need. I can directly call that with the type that you people wants. Now I'm giving it as a string so that I can write something like welcome. Suppose let's say I'm using the demo and which is of type boolean that what I can do where I supposed to pass what some true or false value. Or else let's say demo that what I have created and here, maybe I can say some number array that what I am having, where you can see if I'll be writing 10, there you have an error. You can see that the argument of the type number is not assignable to the type parameter number array because I declared here it as number array, but I am specifying what value? A number value. So that is where it is giving me an error. But if I give like a brackets here 10 comma 20 if I'll be giving, I don't have any issues here. Same way, let me create a simple interface I'll create. You know how to create an interface, right? So how to create an interface, tell me? We use a keyword that is interface. Employee is an interface that what I can do. I employee is the one that what I have defined. And here I'm going to have an ID which is of type number that what I can say, and I have a name which is of type string that what I can use. Now here you can see when I'm using let's say demo and the type is going to be when I say I employee, I'm able to pass. Let's say if I'm giving 101, I'm getting an error here or not. See there, the argument of the type number is not assignable to the parameter of type what? I employee. Okay, Srikanth, I can pass a string value. Same error. See this. When I supply, let's say, a Boolean value, something like true or false, I have an issue, right? When I supply an array kind of value, again we have an issue. That means you can observe that I'm creating a single function, but I can make use of that function by passing different type of values along with the type safety. Along with what? The type safety over here. So that what I can do, I'll be passing only the value which are going to be an ID. Maybe I can say ID as 101. And at the same time, we have the name. Name is of type string so that I can pass the Srikanth. Clear now? So this is how the generics are going to be used. Now I'll execute my application. Let's clear the screen and you can see TSC space generics.ts and then node space generic. First time it would be of type number. Second time it would be of type string. Third time the same function will behave with boolean. The fourth time you can see it is of type object and fifth time it is of type object that what we are having. Understood? So this is how a generic can be used. Now, do we have any restriction that generics only can be used at function level means no? The answer is no again. Generics can be used at function level or the same generic can be used at class level. Same generic can be used at property level. That's up to you. Whatever the type you define, then you can pass that particular type of value. It's completely in your choice. Now, let's say I'll comment this code, these lines of code. I'm going to have a simple generic class. How to create the generic class? Same way, class, name of the class, you can give any name. Maybe I can say my class, that what I can give. And here, how many generic types you want to have also you can define. Now I created a generic type, two generic types I'm having. Okay, T comma, yes, that what I can do. And now here, let's say I created an X which is of type T. Okay, and at the same time, I created a Y which is of type yes, that what I can do. When I assign a value to this one, now you can see we have an error. A type number cannot be assignable to the type yes, could be instantiated with an arbitrary type which could be unrelated to the number. That means when you define a generic type, don't directly declare the values or don't directly initialize the values. If you could initialize the value, then how a system will understand. When I say about system, system means application. Okay, don't think that like, system means it's a computer, it's an application. How application will understand. If I give 100, then I'm assuming that I should have a number. But Y is of what type I created here? Yes, S is a data type, generic data type. It's a generic data type. So that I can have something like that. Now you can see I'm writing a simple function. Public display is the function that what I'm having. And I'm going to print the same thing, console.log. Let's say I use type of X is type of X is, I'm going to write, let's go with type of X, that what I can give. Whatever. Okay, nothing. We are in a class. So that this keyboard is must. And at the same time, value of X is, and I'm going to print the X value here. 1 second, please. Usha garu. Cheppandi. Okay. అదే 21 రోజు. ఆహా. ఆహా. ఓకే. ఓకే. సరే, సరే. అట్లా. సరేనా. థాంక్స్. Okay. Now this is the one. And at the same time, I am using, let's say, another console.log. I'll go with console.log where I can give type of y is. Let me give the same. Just you can give type of, okay. And here I can say y. And at the same time, okay, this dot y I can say, and value of y is, and I'm going to give this dot y, that what I can give. That's it. Now you see, you cannot assign directly the value, but what you can do here is, now let me give, I'm creating an object. So how could I create? Let's say when I give my class, I'm creating an object where I can say my class, that what I can give is equal to, let's give, when I give my class, now you see we have an error here. What is that error? Generic type my class T comma S requires two arguments. One is T, another one is yes. That means we must have to specify what would be the data types. Now I can give string, let's say a number, that what I can give. Understand? First I am giving a string and second I am giving a number. So that what I can do, I'll be writing. Okay, I'm just showing you. I'll have a constructor to initialize the data as well. Let's have a constructor and I'm creating X is of type T and Y is of type yes, that what I can give. Okay, Y is of type yes, that what I can give. And this dot X is equal to X I can give. And this dot Y is equal to Y that what I can. Now you see my constructor is having how many parameter? Two. Again, these two parameters also of what type? Normal type or generic type? Generic only. You see, I created a generic work one time at the level of class. I used it parameter level. I used it constructor level, and also I used it my function level as well. Now what I can do when I'm defining a class here, you can see when I'm defining an object here, my class, and I'm giving first one is the string and second one is the number. Otherwise, let's say first one only the number and second one is going to be let me have a string. If that is a case, now you can see new my class here. You can observe that X is of what type of value, no number, and Y is of what type string I can have. So that user may pass what only that value. If user has given any other value rather than that, then it won't allow you. Now you can see I'm going to call obj dot display as the function that what that's it. Clear now, everyone. Now you can see we have what my class and I created two generic type. I used it constructor level. I used it display. And the same way I'm creating another object also. Let obj1 and the type here is going to be my class only. And this time what I can do, I'm going to write something like a number array and then I'm going to have a string array here. String array that what I can do is equal to new my class that what I can do. The time when I open, it is asked me to provide what? Number array. That means same class, but I can supply different type of values at the same time by achieving the type set. So that here I can pass what? A number array. Let's give 10 comma 20 and then I just wanted to give a string array where I can give welcome. Suppose Srikanth, if I'll be giving a value, something like a number 1, 2, 3, 4, then am I getting any error? Yes, obviously it's an error. Why it is not showing me? It should be an error. Now you can see a number array is not assignable to the string or number is not assignable to the type. The type number is not assignable to the type string. You can see we have an error, but it should comes with this. Yes, here you can. That means if you can pass a different value, I declared here string array so that you must have to supply the value is also of type a string. When I'm giving a string, do we have any error here? See that? We don't have any error. Now I'll just come back here and I'm going to use obj1 dot. Let's call the display function. obj1 dot, let's have the display function. And the next thing is going to be let obj2 that what I can do and which is of type my class. Now I'm going to enable this particular interface here. I'll be writing control KU. Now you can see I have an interface. Now I can specify my interface. Okay, I specify my interface for the first one. That is IEMP that what I'm having. And the second one is also going to be IEMP that what I'm having. That means how many generic types you define, you must have to supply those many types at the time of calling. If you can give, let's say only one if you can give, then it will throw you an error. Generic type, my class, T comma S requires how many type arguments? Two arguments are required here, but I'm supplying only one. So that you can pass the second one anything. Maybe Srikanth, can I use a string? Yes, you can do that. Now at the time of using it, I equal to, let's say, new my class that what I can do, first argument is of what type now? It became IEMP. Second object is of what type? A string type. So that you can see first object at the time of giving, I am giving an ID as going to be, let's say 101, and the same thing, name as going to be, I'll be writing something like Srikanth here. That's it. Now give a comma. What is the second object type here? String. So that I can give a string here. Maybe I'll be writing my name. Just I can give, otherwise, let's say, you welcome to Naresh IT or what. You can give some string there, like that it is. Understood. And after that, I'm going to call obj2 dot, let's have a function that is a display function. Now you can see, I'm going to compile it and then execute, clear the screen, and there I can go with the compilation generics.ts, and the next one node spacer. Now you can see first x is of type number value 101. Second y is of type number, sorry, string. You can see number and string. Okay. Next one, we have object types. That is an arrays. Arrays will be converted into objects by default in JavaScript. And then you can see the third one is also like that. And here it is giving me an object over there. And fourth one is going to be a string. That what I'm. And if you want to display the value, then what you can do is dot JSON method you can. Okay, leave about it. We have an option. We have a pipe is available. I'll just explain you in Angular like how we can deal with that. This is what all about the generics. Generics can be used at function level, method level, interface level, class level, constructor level, anywhere you can use once you define. That is all about the generics. Yes, any questions? Anything? Clear? No, why should we go with plain JavaScript? That's the reason. We have a pure pipe is available with the name JSON is there. Directly by using that, we can convert that objects into the JSON form. That is where I'm just thinking. Only to work. Right. If there is no question, we'll go with the next concept. That is what the last concept, individual, is modules. Modules in the see class inside the class we cannot create, right? I mean, we can create the class, but it's very rare situations. Very rare situations. That means, as you said, suppose let's say I have a class here and I just wanted to create another class, right? Wanted to create another class, maybe a class is going to be an employee. Unexpected token, a constructor method accessor or property was expected. It is not supported in TypeScript, but the same concept is supported in .NET, but he is not supported. Having a class inside another class is not possible. That's it. Next. Next. Any question? Any question, please ask me. Don't worry. Because, like, let's see, if sessions are done, if you are getting, or else like when you are doing a practice, I eagerly waiting to, get clarify the doubts. If you can start learning anything with confusion over the period of time, you may get bored. Why we are getting daily errors like that at some point of time, like will lose the interest also. That way, just to get clarify your doubts so that it would be easy for you to move forward. Okay, please do practice. How much simple it is, that much difficult also while you are doing the practice. That way, please do practice. And the next one, we have like, the module. TypeScript, it is not much important, but Angular, this concept is important. Why, like, the modularity here is, suppose, let's say, as he asked just now, sir, I have a class which is available in one place. Can I access it that class? Like that, he asked a question. But exactly the thing is here, I'm having my project. In my project, I have, let's say, 4 modules. Maybe Naresh IT you may take. Naresh IT is having what? Uh, I can say that, like, generally Naresh IT website is having different modules. Student is one module, right? And at the same time, next one, faculty information is also there, right? Faculty is another module. Course information is available. Uh, right. Fees information is available. Like that, we have just assume that 4 modules. Each module is having different logic. Okay. Maybe I can say here I have a class. Okay. Class 1 is there. And here we have class 2 is available. And like that, you see, I have different classes that are defined here and that are defined even here, and those are defined here. Just assume that. So based on the requirement, one class can be used in another module also, right? Yes, sir. That means, let's say in class 1, I have some logic which was defined where I wanted to use it in this particular page. Did you understand? So I need to create an object of this one in another place. By default, it won't allow you in JavaScript. That is the problem because it's a procedure oriented programming. The problem with the procedure oriented programming is you cannot call one module or else like one class file or else one file logic into another file. It is the challenging task in the procedure oriented. But coming to object oriented, that is only that advantage actually. Okay, we can use like, reuse the code, whatever you define and wherever you define. In order to reuse that logic in Angular, generally we use a concept of module. A module will provide a way to access a way to access class or interface. Generally class or interface from one file to another file, from one file to another file. That means I defined like, a logic in one class and I used it over there, but in another class I just need that particular one. Then instead of rewriting that, where you can reuse it, that means it is mainly used for reusability. It is mainly used for what purpose? Reusability. Whenever if you wanted to reuse the code, there you can go with the concept of modules. Understood? Now how we can use it? In order to implement modules, we use we use the first one is going to be export and the second one is going to be import. First one is going to be export and second one is going to be import. Now export keyword, export can be given for a class where, understand, where we can provide an option to export to another. Once if it is exported, then it can be imported it in anywhere. So how we can use it? Let's say I'm creating a simple one. Okay, it's a module one dot ts I can do. Now I'm writing some just a custom logic here. Let's say I have um, I'll be creating a class and the class is going to be employee where I can create a properties here. Maybe let's say employee ID, which is of type number that what I can give, and then employee name, which is of type string. And I'll be having a constructor where I can have an ID Okay, an ID that what I can give, and at the same time, I have the name which is of type string, and I'm going to give this dot emp ID is equal to ID, and then this dot emp name equal to, let's say, name. And also I'll be having some function here, a simple function which will display the both, so that I can say console.log. I'm going to write employee ID. EMP ID is, I'll be using this dot employee ID, and at the same time, I'm writing employee name is, I'm using a dollar where I can use this dot employee name, I can say. This is like, a class that what I have created. In which file? That is module1.ts. Same way, I'll create module2.ts I can create. Okay, module2.ts that what I can create. Now the time when I create module2.ts, I'll be declaring some interface. Let's say I have an interface IEMP I can give, where I can have ID is of type number, and then name is of type, I'm sorry, name is of type, let's say string that what I can use. Name is of type string. Okay, this is how I define. Now I wanted to create an object in another module. I declared the logic here. In one file, I declared the class logic. Another file, I declared what? Interface logic. And in third file, I'm trying to create an object and then call. That is my requirement. So how I can do that? Let's say module3.ts I can use. Here I wanted to create an object. Let obj, which is of type employee, that what I am using. When I say about in module1.ts, you can see module1.ts. Okay, we have a class with the name employee only. I'm sorry, EMP only, not employee, is equal to new EMP, that what I can say. And here it is asking me to pass ID and the name, right? So that I can give 101, and the name is going to be, let's give some name over there. And then obj dot, I'm going to call the display function here up, right? And the same thing, let another object I'll create, obj2, which is of type IEMP is equal to, I can supply only that value. ID is going to be 102, and then name is going to be, you can use some name over there. That's it. And finally, what I can do, console dot log, that what I can say, obj2, that what I can use. Do we have any error here? Any error? Obviously no, right? But now you can see I'm trying to execute module 3 here, TSC space module 3 dot TS if I'm using. Now we have an error, you can see. What is that error here? Cannot find the name EMP, cannot find the name EMP, cannot find the name IEMP. Found three errors in the same file starting at module3.ts that we are having. Why we have an error like this? But why it is not showing me a compilation error here? Because this is the problem with the Visual Studio Code. It's not a problem with the TypeScript, it is a problem with VS Code. VS Code is maintained some cache memory. That is the reason when you open the file, then it won't give you error. Now when I close it, see there, am I getting an error up? When I close it here, that means it's a compilation error only. We are not getting exception still. When that exception will come, when you are executing, then exception. But when I'm compiling it, TSC space, the file name .ts, then it gives you an error, means that is a compilation error only. But Visual Studio is not showing me that intelligence. That is the problem. That's it. But it gives you the compilation errors. Why it is not available? because those are available in a different files. If it is not available, then do we have a concept of reusability? Tell me. We don't have. Again, whatever the logic you have written in that file, same logic copy pasted here. So if it required in third place, then again same thing copy paste. Again, it is required in fourth place, that is also copy paste. Copy paste is simple thing, but maintenance is challenging thing. Understood. Copy paste means what? Control C, control V, done. You have implemented, you have copy pasted, let's say in 40 files or 50 files, and you left the company, then the newcomer, how they will identify in which all the places like it was. If he missed like in one place, then it causes an exception, right? So that is the reason where TypeScript introduced a concept of module. Now, whenever if you are working with the module, the first thing what you can do, whatever you guys wants to export, first you can give an export statement here. Now, what I just want to do, I am using export class. What is the class name? EMP. Same way, here also, I'm going to export interface. And what is that interface here? It is IEMP has to be given. First use that export. That means these two, I'm going to provide a way in another module to access. If you don't want to allow, don't give it. That's it. But if you wanted to make use of some functionality from one file to another file or one module to another module, before that particular one, use a keyword. That is what we call it as export keyword. Export keyword. And then wherever you guys wants to access, use the import statement. Now what I can do, I'm going to import what you wanted to import from the module one. I wanted to import employee class, right? So that import what you wanted to import employee from where it is module one. Don't give a file extension here, just give a name of the file. That's it. Okay, same way I wanted to get this one also. So how I can do that? Same, import. Okay, import, import. Now here what I can do? IEMP, from where it is available? It is available in module. Understood? So like that it is. Suppose let's say from module one, you just wanted to have another class you created. Let's go with the class, and the name of the class is going to be student. That what I can do. Now you can see, is it possible to access the student here? See there, when I use an import statement where I can say student, where it is available under the module one only, but am I able to access the student here? Now you can see, declares the students what? Locally, but it is not important. It doesn't mean that once if I'm giving an export for one, we can access everything. If you, whatever like you wanted to provide an access, before that you must have to give what? An export keyword. If you are not giving an export, then it won't allow you. And then suppose, let's say I'm writing an export over here. Now, can I import it one more time? You can see I'll be using import. What I wanted to import, you can see that student from module. Clear now? Whatever you wanted to export, give an export keyword before it, and then you can export it over there. But suppose I have 10, do I need to write 10 import statements like this? Because EMP and student both are from the same module, right? If that is a case, instead of writing it separately, what you can do, you can just give a comma and then give whatever you want to do. Okay. So this is the concept of modules. Now you can see, no need to compile like everything. Just to whatever the main file we are having, we can go with that. Let's say TSC space. I'm giving module 3 dot TS, I can say. Now it is getting compiled. And once if the compilation is done, node space module 3.js if I'll be using. Now you can see ID and name and ID and understood. So this is how modules can be. Now you can see the time when I'm running JS files also created. See that. See this module.1.js, 2.js, 3.js. When I open 3.js, now you can see use stricter object defined property, export ES module, value true, and module 1_1 require module 1 where they are calling and they created an object. This is the Java file that we are. Let's see. So this is the concept of what? Modules. Export can be given for a class or interface where we can provide an option to export to another. And every export can be imported, can be imported. So how I can write export class? Suppose you can give a class that is an employee. And suppose if it is available in class1.ts file. If I'm defining like that, now I just wanted to use it in class2.ts, then what I can do? I'm going to use import. What you wanted to import? EMP, that is my class, so that I can say EMP from where it is available, class1. Okay, directly you can give class1. Don't give the extension. Okay, don't give the extension. This import statement will make available this EMP class in class2. Export and then we go with import. So this is all about the TypeScript. But we have, as I told you, many things to learn, even in TypeScript purely, but it is not required. With respect to that Angular, how much it is required? This is more than enough. I can't say that only it is for Angular. Even if you wanted to go with React implementation also, you can use this particular one. Okay, React and Angular, Vue.js nowadays. These three are popular frameworks which are used to build the client-side application. In order to implement those three, whatever I'm explaining, that's more than enough. Clear? And not even for you. I have already showed you, right? See this. Hmm. Hmm. సరే ఏదో ఒకటి చేద్దాం అదే ఎప్పుడు మిడ్ నైట్ వెళ్ళిద్దాం అన్నమాట సరే సేమ్ కానీ ఓకే now you see it's a company as I told you, right? Same concept, nothing apart. Ah. See, okay. Again, why this is required is, I told you, real time is different, examples are different. Whatever I'm explaining here, these are examples just. But in real time, like, do we have any guarantee that, I mean, I write everything in one class, and we are violating a principle that is what we call it as single responsibility. Okay. I will show you the importance of solid principles. Solid principles. It is not related to, like, any particular language. C sharp same solid, Java same solid. Anywhere you go, solid principles are the must standard we must have to follow. Now I'll show you that. See there, the solid principles are 5 principles of object-oriented class design. They have set the rules and best practices to follow while designing a class structure. The 5 principles helps us to understand the need of certain design pattern and software architectural in general. So I believe this topic is very much background. It is not required. I'm not much curious about. Okay, now you see the first principle is what solid S stands for, single responsibility principle. The single responsibility principle states that a class should do one thing and therefore it should have only a single reason to change. Right? That means what exactly they're telling here, whenever if you can create a class, okay, whenever if you can create a class, a class should contain only, exactly the related logic. If I club everything, then I can show you somewhere we have a good article actually. Solid principle, somewhere maybe C sharp corner. You can see. The reason for most unsuccessful applications you can learn. See this. Developers build that applications with good and 3D designs. That means combining everything designs using their knowledge and experience. But over that time, application might develop what? Bugs. Because the complexity is more, then it may cause like, developing the bug. The application design must be altered for every change request or a new feature request. As you said, like if everything is going to be one place when the complexity is more, then it might cause the bugs. At that time, every new change, I need to change the logic. After some time, we might not pull a lot of effort. We might need to put a lot of effort even for a simple task. And this might require full working knowledge of the entire system. That is where I told you copy paste. If you can do the copy paste wherever you have the code, you only the person to know. If you can live, then how? But we cannot blame the change or the new feature request. That means as this is going to be completely compacted, no, I don't want to modify it. When I do the modification, it is impacted in another place. So I don't want to provide the new implementation means there is no use of the application. That is where they are the part of software development. We can't stop them or refuse them either. The new request. So who is the culprit here? Tell me. You are the culprit. Culprit means like who made this, like the system. It's not you and it's not somebody else. It's all about what? The design of the application. Now you can see design flaws. Putting more stress on what? Classes. Single class, if you can put more stress by assigning more responsibility to them. A lot of functionality which is also not related to the class. And forcing the class to depend on another classes. If a class is dependent on each other, then that is tightly coupled. Then changes in one file can be affecting another place also. Spreading the duplicate code in the system. Copy paste. So what is the solution? That is the reason where we have the solid principle. In that first one is what? Single responsibility. What is a single responsibility? SRP says every software module should have only one reason to change. That means this means every class or similar structure in your code should have only one job. That means if you create an employee class, it should contain employee related logics. If you create, let's say, another one, maybe let's say student, it should contain student related functionality. That is the reason where we create these. Clear? That is what examples are different, practical environment is different. We only think at the time of initial days, even I also think that why they have created these many classes. Seriously, why they have everything if I write it in one place, I need not to open these many files, right? Even I also think like that. But over the period of time, once you get that experience, you can understand the architecture, right? Then you will be easily identify what is happening exactly. What is the reason behind it? You will understand once you get that experience. But in examples like, all these TypeScript, I created these many generally, but can't be executed in one. We can do one. But why I created means I know that like, the importance of this principle. That even for every example, I created separately. Maybe I can include the concept, but I created separately because of that reason. Next. Next. Very good. Next. Any other questions from online, offline, anyone? I'm going to upload all the example by zipping it. So please do practice today at any cost. Angular sessions 7:30. All that example I'll just upload one more time. Just download the WinRAR software. I saw like few people are how to extract it. Don't ask me those questions. Just download WinRAR software. It's a free software. WinRAR 64-bit official website. Click on download. It will download. Sometimes it may not affect it. Restart the mission, then it will work definitely. Once the installation is done, restart it, and then you can download all the files and start working. You need to verify only the TS file. Forget about the JavaScript. You can write by your own. Don't write only the command. After downloading, going there and TSC space module 3 dot TS Amaya, we don't have any error because already written. Okay. I saw those legends also. Srikanth, the code like whatever you have written, it is working fine. But I'm downloading, it is not working fine. I really surprised why it happened. What they have done, once you download where it is downloaded, download folder. They created a path exactly like this. Okay, they are running the command from there. I surprised why the problem here is TypeScript also is not giving correct error. Sometimes the errors you can't understand also. Okay, show me the code means they open the Visual Studio Code and showing whatever I shared with them, they open the same. What happened? Like why I don't have any error in my mission, but you are getting an error. Why it is happened? Later, like after around 15 to 20 minutes later, okay, show me exactly where your files are. Then they open. Okay, how you open the Visual Studio means then they said I go to the downloads folder, but from where you are running this means no, Srikanth, you explain the same. It's my mission, man. Right? That is it. Don't do those kind of mistakes. Download and keep aside, practice yourself, and then execute. Compile